Hi besties, I'll be showing you how to make this one shoulder dress with a lace gown. So the one in the middle is the one I made, the one on the side is the inspiration. So if you want to know how I achieved this, do not skip any part of this video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. So for this tutorial, I used an Ankara fabric. The one we are trying to recreate is a lycra material. So it's a very stretchy fabric. So you can use crepe or lycra or Ankara like I used. Here I have my Chantilly lace, but mine is not stretchy and I have 2 years of that. So now let's head straight into drafting. So on my pattern paper, I'll just be drafting out our basic bodies, but before then I'll just mark out my starting line. So now we're going to take our body measurement. So from the starting line, I'm going to place my tape. I'll come down by my chest line, then I'll take my waistline. So I'll mark the same thing, chest line and my waistline. So we all know how to draft out our basic bodies by now, right? So after doing that, I'm just going to rule out the lines into a straight line, so everything is easy for us to start taking our measurement from there. So I'm done doing that. I'm going to come to the shoulder line. I'm going to divide my round shoulder by 2, which is 15 divided by 2 give you 7.5. I'll come to the chest line. I'm going to mark the same 7.5 and I'll rule that into a straight line. Now I'm going to mark my neck width. So I'm using a neck width of 3 inches, and for the depth I used 1 inch for the back and 3 inches for the front. And for this tutorial there was no need for the back, so just mark it sharp. So I will just connect the back neckline to the neck width this way. After doing that, I'll connect the front, but before then I want to measure to be sure I have 3 inches there. So I have it and I'm going to connect from the neck width to the 3 inches. So I'm going to come down by the armhole side. I'll come down 1 inch from my shoulder slope and I'll connect from the neck width to that point. Now I'll measure what I have there. I'll get the middle of that. Then on the chest line, I'm going to divide my round bust by 4. I'm going to mark that. Now I'm going to come to the waistline. I'll divide my round waist by 4. I'll mark. Then I'll connect from the chest line to the waistline, the bust line to the waistline. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my nipple to nipple measurements. So I'm marking that on the chest line and I'll do that on the waistline as well, and I'll roll that into a straight line. So I'm using a dart of 1 inch, so I'll be marking half an inch on both sides of the dart leg. So we're adding the dart to this dress, then I'll connect it to the chest line this way. So I'm done doing that. Next thing I'll do is I'll be replacing that 1 inch that I marked for the darts. I'll be adding it to the waistline. After that, I'll reconnect it back to the chest line this way. Now I'll add my measurements like the sewing allowance, but before then I'll just cover the armhole. Then I'll add the sewing allowance, and I'm using 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance. I'll add the same thing on the bust area and I'll reconnect my measurements. And that is it. So the next thing we're going to do now is just to cut out. So guys, if you have watched up to this point and you've not liked this video but are you waiting for, please hit that button and subscribe to the channel, like and comment. The more you comment, the more algorithm pushes this video out, please. Now this is the fabric I've already brought out for the back and front. So the difference between the front piece and the back piece is the 1 inch I have for the zipper allowance for the front. So we're using this one pattern to cut both the front and back. That is why we did not add that zipper allowance for the back piece. I hope this is understandable. So now I'll place them and I'll use my pins to hold the fabric and the pattern paper down so that everything lays flat, you get. So please always make sure you have pins. It helps and makes your work very easy. So after doing that, I'm just going to add half an inch to the lower part, then cut out the sides. So guys, I'm back again. If you have not subscribed to this channel, if you don't like any of my videos, please hit that subscribe button and like this video now. Thank you. So I'm done cutting out. I'm going to notch my darts because we are going to be sewing it down. So I'll just take out the pins and we are going to stake out the front piece so that we can work on the back piece. So for to avoid zipper bulge, I'm going to mark out my zipper allowance of 1 inch this way. Then I'll come out by half an inch from there, and I'll connect it back to the waistline like this, to the front piece this way. Then still on that waistline, I'll come up by 1 inch, then I'll reconnect it back to the waistline like this. This is to help your zip sit properly. So I'm just going to trim that part off and cut out the part we went up, then open up the rest of the zipper. I hope this is clear. If there's any question you ask, so if I open it up, this is how our back piece is going to look like. So I'm just going to place it together this way. We'll keep it so that we'll work on the front piece. So this is where the off shoulder comes in. So it depends on the part you want to cut out as the one shoulder, so it can be the left or the side or the right. So from my right side, I'm going to connect from the shoulder point to the left side. So from the neckline, I connected it this way to the armhole. I hope this is clear. So I'm going to take it again. So it depends on which side you want the off shoulder to be, the left or the right side. So from the right side, I connected from the neckline to meet the other armhole, and I'm just going to trim that part off because we don't need it anymore. And that is it. So to cut out the other piece, very simple. Just get the two pieces of the back, place each side, right side facing each other, the way I'm doing in this video. This is the easiest way to cut it so that you don't make any mistake. So place each side matching each other. So you see, match it up this way. Make sure that the armhole and everything is matching up. Then we are going to turn it. Take out the other part because that is not the part we need. So match up this particular side, which is the left side, and if you turn it, you see what we have. So now all you have to do is just what, trim it, and that is that simple, is that easy. So just cut it off this way, and that is it. We are done. So this is how it's going to look like. So you see, and if you match it up, you see that everything will be matching up pretty well. So this is what we have. So I'll keep it aside. Let's draft out our skirt. Now for the skirt, I folded another fabric into two, and I'm going to take out my half length, then get how long I want my gown to be or my dress to be. So please, whatever you're doing, make sure you add your allowance, like your hemming allowance, to that, because we are turning this with a lining. So after that, from the starting line, I'm going to come down by my hip line, which is 9 inches. I'll mark that out. So now I'll come to the hip line. I'll divide my round hip by 4. Then I'll mark. Then I'll go to the waist area. I'm going to divide my waistline by 4. I will mark. Then I'll connect from the waistline to the hip line this way. So whatever I have on the hip line, I'm going to minus just 1 inch from it, and I'll mark that at the full length. You can minus 1.5, but I took out just 1 inch. So I'll connect from the hip line to the hemline this way, and we are done. Now we're going to add our sewing allowance of 1.5 inches. So I'll add that to the waistline. I'll do the same thing on the hip line, and I'll add the same thing on the full length, and we are going to connect this way. And that is it. So now we're just going to cut out. So just make sure that everything is sitting pretty well. I'm just rearranging things. So I'm done. We're going to cut out. So guys, I'm back again. If you have not subscribed or liked any of my videos, please like it. Thank you. Now we're going to use the same pattern. We're going to use the front to cut the back. So for the back, I've marked out 1.5 inch for zipper allowance. So I'll place the front piece on it. So the back has a zipper allowance of 1.5 inch. So I'm placing the back on it. So now the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to do our butt contour. So on the waistline, from that zipper allowance, I'll come out by 1 inch on the waistline. Now I'm going to mark out my hip line this way to the back as well. So on the waistline, from the zipper allowance, I'll come out by 1 inch. Remember, we marked 1.5 inch. I'll mark 1 inch. Now I'll connect that 1 inch to the 1.5 inch on the hip line. This is for our butt contour. You see, so now after the hip line, I'll be marking 1 inch all the way down to the full length. If you have any questions, please ask on the comment section. So I'm done doing that, then I'll connect everything together. So we are going to be cutting out, so just cut out the shape you have. So I'm equally going to trim out the excess I have on the zipper area. And that's it. So now I'll go cut out lining for both the skirt and the upper parts, and I'll bring it back to show you what we have. So here I'm done cutting out the lining. So this is the skirt. I've cut out the lining, and if you notice, the lining is 1 inch shorter than the main skirt. That is why I said please add your hemming allowance. So I'm going to open up the skirt this way. So we are going to place the lining on it. So you remember the lining is 1 inch shorter. So the first thing you do is you're going to use 1/2 inch to sew the lower part. After doing that, then you drag it upwards and close the sides. So you do that for both the front and the back piece. So for the front pieces, I've cut out my lining. So this is the one shoulder side for the back. I'm going to hem the upper parts and close the sides. I'll do the same for the other pieces. I'm going to use 1/2 inch to close the neckline. I'll close the armhole and I'll close the side. So I'll go sew all of them together and I'll bring it back to show you what I have. So after sewing all my pieces, this is what they will have. So this is the shoulder, this is the one shoulder area for the front, and I've marked out my body measurement and I've imputed my dart. So these are the sides for the back. I've equally done the same thing. I've equally imputed my dart. So I'll go match them up this way and I'll be sewing down. So after closing the shoulders, then I'll stitch the sides down this way. So I'll go close them and I'll bring back to show you. So this is for the skirts. I'm done sewing the skirt, so I left a little opening at the hem, and this is for the skirt. Now this is the upper part. I have sewn everything together. So we're going to be joining the upper part and the lower part together. So I'm going to match them up by this right side facing each other, and I'll go use 1/2 inch to sew it all around. So I'll do that and I'll bring it back to show you what I have. So this is a basic bodice pattern that I have, so I'll be using it to cut out the lace parts. So if you don't have, just draft out a new one. So here I've placed it and I've added my zipper allowance of 1 inch. So I'm cutting the back piece first. So this is a basic bodice, but this one, add your back neckline, add your front neckline. So if you notice, I added 1 inch for my zipper allowance here and I'm cutting out. So the pattern is not up to the length I want, so I added to increase it. So just draft out a basic bodice like we normally do, add the front and back neckline. So cut out the back piece first, and while cutting, add your zipper allowance to that. So I'm done cutting out, so I'm just opening up the zipper allowance. So I'm done doing that. So I'll take out the pins so that you see what we have. So taking out the pattern paper, this is for the back piece. So we're done cutting out the back piece, so I'm going to keep it aside. Let's work on the front piece. Now for the front, I'll cut out the front neckline, then cut out the 1/2 inch we have on the armhole of the front. So I'll use this pattern now to cut out the front and I'll bring it back to show you what we have. Now this is the front piece. I'm going to open it up so you guys see how it looks. So this is how it looks. Now I'm going to get the two back pieces. So you're going to place them right side facing each other. We're going to close the shoulders with 1/2 inch. Then we'll close the sides with the 1 inch with the allowance you added, either 1 inch or 2 inches. So I'll do that and I'll bring about to show you. So guys, I'm done stitching the sides and closing the shoulders. So I'll be using this bias now to turn the neckline. So I'll use the bias to turn the neckline. So I'll sew it, then I'll top stitch it on the wrong side. So I'll stitch that down and bring it back to show you what I have. So guys, I lost the clip of when I drafted the sleeve. So I have already taught how to draft a sleeve. So just draft a basic sleeve, then attach it. Then after that, put your zip, and that is it. So attach your sleeve and put your zip, and that will be all. There is nothing serious we are doing here. It's just a basic dress, and this is for the front. So after sewing it, this is what it looks like, and I've equally added the zipper to it. So thank you guys so much for watching up to this point. Do not forget to like, subscribe to this channel. I will see you all on my next video. Bye.